Let's get into game 2. Game 1 was already a banger, back and forth, a lot of team fighting. Ooh, there seems to be a feature on here. I don't understand any Vietnamese, so I'll just talk over it. I'm sorry. If anyone wants to look at the feature, go to the Vietnamese stream, I guess. I'm not sure if the Vietnamese broadcast will award MVPs for single games in the playoffs, or if they go for a playoff series MVP, just like the Western regions do. If they go for a single game MVPs, who would you give it to in this game? Might just be Artifact, in my opinion. He had a strong laning phase, got a lot of advantages early, and then was impeccable in the teamfights on his Silas. Good ultimates. There was an insane pool on the enemy side, to be honest. There were so many good teamfight impacting ultimates on the side of EVOS, so he had the free choice to go for whatever ult he liked best. It seemed to be the Hecarim ult a lot of times, and then the Pike ult as his second choice. Yeah, I think he had a big teamfight impact on the Silas, going for the hard engage on No Way, on top of the just atop the mid lane in the river, where the game turned around with a big team fight on No Way. He was the one pulling the engage, so that's another factor where I would give the MVP to him. Celebrity, another possibility. He struggled a lot in lane, only went down once, to his credit. Yeah, but he had good team fighting as well on the Jinx, and most importantly, he went for the right items, which seems to be a big struggle for VCS ADCs. I have seen Cherry Esports ADC, I think it was, going for, or was it FDV's ADC? Not quite sure, against Gigabit Marines last Saturday or Sunday, where the ADC went with 3 lifeline items. That was quite a struggle. He pretty much threw the game away because he refused to build crit and only went for the utility items in his latest slots. I think it was on Vayne. So Vayne obviously can go for utility as well. But if you're facing a Tristana late game, you might have to go for the full damage items as well. He didn't do that. His team lost. And we saw once again an ADC going for utility over damage, this time on the Kai'Sa, with a Blade coming in fourth. I have not seen a Blade on Kai'Sa at all. I have to say, there was a bit of Blade Kai'Sa first item, I think, after 9.3 and 9.4. But I have not ever seen a Kai'Sa go for the Blade as a fourth item. Very weird choice by No Way, and kind of cost them the game. It was not his fault only, but he was definitely a contributor there with his weak teamfighting build compared to the Jinx on 75% crit, big rocket crits all over the place there. Yeah. Seems to be something about Artifact here. One of my favorite players watching this game. I think Artifact is the best player on Friends Forever, especially looking at the later stages of the season. Friends Forever have a very interesting play style around their mid laner. They don't really go for a lot of mid lane ganks. They like to let him win his lane. His most played champs are very lane dominant champions such as Syndra and Cassiopeia. He gets a few solo kills, but that's not even that important, to be honest. It's more about him using his mid lane pressure he got in the 1v1 without any jungle help to free up his jungler and follow up on the roams to facilitate his side lanes. We didn't really see that much of that in the first game because he was in the top lane. He still got the advantages. This time they played around him a lot, so a bit of a change in playstyle coming in there for Friends Forever. But he's very important to them. They need him to dominate the mid lane matchup against DR1, who's also an important player on EVOS' side. Maybe not quite as important as Artifact. Still think DR1, especially in the last few weeks, has been one of the best players on EVOS as well. have to remind everyone of the Game 1 performance against Sky Gaming last Sunday, where he went 12-2 on his Rise. Second item, what was it again? Frozen Heart, yeah. Second item, Frozen Heart Rise. He was not able to get killed at all. Played against full AD, so I guess that's the reason for the Frozen Heart, but yeah, he was unkillable and dealt unbelievable amounts of damage in that game. We saw a big bot lane advantage coming in for EVOS in this game. Their top laner was struggling. To be fair, it was more of the mid laner struggling in the top lane. Got picked on a lot. DNK focusing around the top lane, and Yijin pathing more towards bot lane. To be fair, he was not really able to gank anything with this Urgot. There was one dive happening in the bot lane. Other than that, he just farmed the early game out, and DNK used that time to accrue a bit of an advantage in the top lane. 2v2 is very strong from EVOS, and I like to see them going for another strong 2v2 setup. Maybe not the Pike, as we saw Ronop struggle a lot with the Pike and the teamfights. Tier 1 stats on the screen. Quite good for a rookie. Tier 1 came in to this team at end of last year. EVOS 4 players are still the same as last year's MSI. We have Stark and Yijin on the top side. They played in MSI last year. We have Ron OP in the bot lane and Slay, their substitute AD carry. That was the lineup we saw last year at MSI. No Way and Dia 1 new to the team. And we are finally into the ban phase of the second game, and we immediately see Friends Forever going with the same strategy, it seems like, banning out the supports, and it starts with the Alistar. They also banned Braum and Thresh, I think. Let's see if they go for a Braum Thresh ban as well. This seems to be their strategy coming into this series. I did not anticipate this at all, but it was kind of successful in the first game, especially in the later teamfights, and we have to see if EVOS secures another support with a bit more teamfight impact this time for Ron OP. No Zaya Rakan in the first game. A bit of a surprise. Overall, I think Zaya Rakan priority was anticipated to be higher in this patch than it actually happened to turn out. Maybe the teams are still learning what really is the best option for this patch. Sylas 100% priority, not even priority, presence in this patch so far, and I think we will continue to see that. Sylas banned once again in this game. It's the Galio as the third support ban. And Friends Forever stick with the Rise priority that EVOS showed in the first game. This time Sylas is banned though, so now EVOS gets to choose what they want to prioritize here. DNK in the first game looked good on the Jarvan, so they could deny this Jarvan pick. I don't really know why jungle is that high of a priority right now, because there's still Rek'Sai, Lee Sin and stuff like that up. You can play. There's not really that big of an incentive to go for an early Jarvan, in my opinion. Let's see how that evolves. And Dia 1 picking away Artifact's favorite champion, the lane priority mid laner, with Syndra coming in very early. Blind Syndra as well. Opens up a few possibilities. Maybe an Yasuo pick from Artifact. Would slot in very nicely together with the Lee Sin. I would like to see the Yasuo coming in for Artifact. Not quite sure if he likes to play that much. He's the Syndra Cassio main. Ryze with the third most played champ. Could be a Ryze mid lane as well. Ryze into Syndra. If he goes Aftershock, he's safe in the lane. Should overall not die. But it's not the strongest lane for the Ryze. And I personally like Ryze in the top lane much more. So we now see Wayne into Kai'Sa. Another game without Rakan and Zaya. Still a bit surprised. I personally like to see the Lovers duo. But Vietnamese teams seem to still prioritize Kai'Sa quite a bit. No Kalista coming in. Very surprising as well to me. Because Kalista a bit of a priority for both teams. Especially for Friends Forever. Their ADC loves to go for Kalista. This game, there's more late game focus, and this time Celebrity can show us if he knows how to build the Kaiser. Yulwei did not. And Yulwei now gets the Vayne, and Vayne after 2 items doesn't really care what she builds after that, so he has a bit more freedom to go for whatever he likes best. Braum Ben now on EVOS' side, suggesting they know what they want to go for their support blind pick in the 4th pick here. There's still Rakan available. Shen could be a possibility. Morgana still up. No, Morgana banned by them as well, I'm sorry. So Shen or Rakan are my 2 most anticipated picks here. Oh, Yasuo banned for EVOS. Good read on the comp from Friends Forever. I like that one. I called the artifact Yasuo, and they call it as well. Banning out this possibility. A strong 2v2 setup, a good 1v1 matchup into the Syndra as well. Now Friends Forever have to go for another mid laner. What is still available for them? Yeah, let's see what is happening. EVOS, pick your support. You banned out Braum. EVOS's pick ban strategy is very surprising to me. Banning out Braum and then not going for the support here. So now Friends Forever gets to deny another support pick. Looking at the bans, we have 3 support bans on Friends Forever side and 2 support bans on EVOS's side. So 5 supports already banned out. There's another one being picked now by Friends Forever, and it will be the Rakan. So now the Leona opens up. Traditional counter pick to Rakan. Maybe EVOS wanted to bait Friends Forever into the Rakan to go for the Leona. Leona Vayne has a lot of kill pressure. Maybe not the strongest 2v2 setup traditionally, but into Rakan Kaiser, I can see a lot of kills happening. Yeah, okay. EVOS support pool seems to be all over the place. Nami? Oh, I would love to see a Nami. My personal favorite support champion, together with Poppy support. Taric, another interesting pick. More of a scaling approach. Oh no, not the oh man, Tahm Kench is so boring. We get another Tahm Kench. And honestly, Tahm Kench into Rakan, I don't really think is the best champion ever, as he can't really save his ADC from the Rakan engage if the Rakan just prioritizes engaging on both of them. Not the biggest fan of Tahm Kench overall. Rakan into Tahm Kench will not be able to win the lane per se, and traditionally Vayne into Kaiser is quite a good lane to play as well, especially after Vayne buffs. Early will be a bit of a struggle for EVOS's bot lane. The push should go to Friends Forever, but the more levels, the better the lane should go. For EVOS's side, once Vayne is able to push out the wave a bit faster, they might even go for a few 2v2 attempts, especially looking at the first game. EVOS's bot lane played the 2v2 out very nicely. I got a few kills in the 2v2 matchup. That's why I wanted to see the Leona, to be honest, because I think EVOS's bot lane is much better than Friends Forever's bot lane after the first game. And they should have looked for a few 2v2 kills, in my opinion. Sadly, we get another Thomas in the bot lane, and let's see if he's more successful than the first one in game 1. This time on EVOS' side with Ron OP running the Tahm Kench. Not sure what's going on right now. I have to say, I'm very intrigued by the Vietnamese language. I think it sounds and looks very cool. I sadly don't understand a bit, but yeah. Artifact with these Irelia in the mid lane. Artifact also a good assassin player. Irelia into Syndra. After the Irelia nerfs, this sounds like a very hard lane to play. The only saving grace for Irelia is that Syndra can't really side lane, so the Irelia just wants to avoid laning phase as much as possible and go for side laning as early as possible. The first few levels will be a big struggle. Irelia Lee Sin gank setup is not the worst, but considering Dia 1 is running the clans, only landing the stun will not be enough. They need to bring more damage, and Artifact has not gone with the Ignite in this game. Don't really see a whole lot of kills happening on DR1. He's usually a player who's able to avoid ganks as well. Let's see if Friends Forever can exploit the mid lane a bit. If not, I anticipate DR1 to dominate this matchup. You see a bit of LEC flavor with the cannon in the top lane. Interestingly, not blinded, but picked into the Rise, which is a bit of a weird choice as well, because cannon usually wants to play against melees and farm up his Kleptomancy as much as possible. Cannon to Rise, a lot of ganking assistance from the cannon. I don't really see the cannon winning the lane too much on his own, but they certainly have a lot of kill pressure together with the Jarvan if they want to play around the top lane. In the pre-show I wanted to do, and my streaming program sadly failed me, I talked to myself about EVOS playing around Stark not yielding the biggest success, and I like to see EVOS playing around their bot lane. They have gone with a bit of a safe scaling bot lane, sadly. Still very sad that we don't see the Leona coming in as a Rakan counter pick here. So they set up their pick and bans to focus around top lane a lot. So far Yijin has pathed around the bottom side, secured the bot lane scuttle, and will now opt for the first gank in the mid lane. Artifact is very safe here and sniffs out the gank. His jungler on his top side as well, so no real pressure on him. Yijin goes back to his jungle, will clear out a few more camps, and now use this time to maybe look for a level 4 gank on the top lane. After killing out this Crux, he should hit level 4. He's actually not going for them. Pathing back down to the bottom lane. Bit of a curious path for Jarvan. He doesn't want to go for the early gank, it seems like, as the bot lane is still very even. No real kill opportunity there. Mid lane very safe. There might be a bit of a kill opportunity in the mid lane, but DR1 is already sitting on very low mana, so he might struggle to stick the landing on the kill. Look at this again. Yijin is, ooh, and they land the stun. So now this opens up a big gank opportunity. But Artifact plays this immaculately, hits the stun and flashes out. Almost died there. Got hit by a DR1 stun very far up the lane, which he should avoid coming. Looking at the next few minutes where his flash is down. He had one free mistake to make with his flash up. Got out of this one. And the first gank attempt from Yijin, considering he traded his flash, not too successful. I have to say, I'm a bit surprised by another Jarvan jungle going for the Conqueror. Where does this come from? Why is Jarvan suddenly going Conqueror? I don't really understand. Jarvan traditionally electrocute jungler, and a very good electrocute jungler as well. Why would you go scaling and ramp up time rune on a jungler that wants to burst? I really don't understand this choice. We have to see if he gets to change my mind in this game. Last game was another Jarvan with Conqueror, so it seems to be meta here in Vietnam. Sadly, I don't remember if we saw Jarvan going for Conqueror yesterday in LEC. Maybe someone can remind me. Ooh, big trade for King J. We already see Kenneth struggling in this lane. And there is really no reason to pick the cannon into Rise if you don't want to play around him. So far, I don't like EVOS' execution in this game. Kill attempt on Yijin, but he gets out with his flag and drag. Sorry. Another stun landing on DR1. There's no real pressure on him either. Artifact still not level 6, so this fight around mid lane will not yield anything. And now they engage into the fight once again. Artifact finally hitting 6. Ooh, flash by DR1. Not sure if that was necessary, as Artifact very low already on mana. And the fight is still continuing, please. Guys, just call off the play. There's nothing happening here. I mean, yeah, if you do stuff like that, there's something happening. Okay, DR1. EVOS with a big blunder there. No reason for them to continue the fight. 2 kills going over to Artifact. Man, why do you do that? That was a bit curious. Look at DR1, he is still level 5. Why would you fight with a Syndra level 5 if you just invested her flash and got nothing with her stun? I'm weirded out to the extreme by this play. This gives Friends Forever a big advantage now in the mid lane. Look at this again. Why is DR1 walking up there? He doesn't have his ultimate. There's no way he kills DNK there. And even if he does, he still gives over the kill to Artifact, which is not good for him. Man, that's a really big mistake. Another gank coming in the bot lane, no kill pressure there. But already 1.5k gold advantage for Friends Forever. EVOS traditionally has fallen behind, especially in the last 2 weeks, or the last week especially. 2000 gold disadvantage at 15 coming in for them. And they turned around both games against Sky Gaming, the number 2 team. To be honest, Sky Gaming had absolutely no teamfight coordination in those games and lost every single teamfight against EVOS. And last game EVOS actually went ahead in gold and threw away the game. So maybe now FFQ can show if they got the same throwing skills as EVOS. They have now accelerated their most important matchup. I talked about that loading into the game. That Artifact will struggle in the 1v1 but outscale D1 in the side lane. And now he's ahead and can just dominate the side lane all game against Syndra with his Irelia pick. Oh man, finally the gank is here for EVOS. They have recognized that they should play around top lane maybe, but King J very defensive on his rise. There was an early kill opportunity for EVOS, but they didn't go for the top lane gank. Instead, they went inting in the mid lane. I guess you can do that if you want. Now they're all in onto Artifact. The stun doesn't land from DR1. Now Artifact can get out, but he doesn't have his flash available, gets exhausted, and DR1 has his ultimate. Will get the kill, very important kill back to EVOS. They collapse onto Artifact, who's playing way too far up in the lane without his flash. Another kill on the top lane. Finally, the flash ultimate engage from Stark came in. King J no way to get out there, with Yijin also investing his flash, looking at the summoners. Maybe we get a replay how that one happened. I anticipate a lot of explosive stuff there in the top lane. Look at this. Stark, oh, it actually first flash from Yijin and then Stark followed up. Thought that would be the other way around. And please tell me again why he picked the Conqueror. Look at that engage. That's a free electrocute. No way Conqueror does more damage than electrocute in that fight. So, yeah, Vietnamese players sometimes are going for a bit of a weird choice. We saw Blade of the Rune King last game. Now Conqueror Jarvan once again. Strange things happening in Vietnam. 10 minutes in, first dragon over to Friends Forever. EVOS has closed the gold gap, but now a lot of summoners are down. Look at the flashes. Only No Way sits on his flash, so there's an opportunity for Friends Forever looking for plays, but they don't really have their flashes available either. There's only the bot lane with Flash Rakan engage, looking for playmaking possibilities. DNK doesn't have his kick flash available to look for mid lane plays maybe. So next few minutes might slow down a little bit until both teams get back to their flashes and can create more plays in both sides of the map. First item already finished from Celebrity. Overall, King J, although he died once, is still sitting very comfortably in this matchup. There's no way Cannon gets to beat the Ryze in the side lane 1v1. Ryze has so much more damage, especially once his items come in. Mobility also going over to the Ryze, considering his keystone, the later the game goes. Once his mana pool is big enough, he can just spam down the cannon. Maybe cannon doesn't die to the Ryze, because he can run out and stun him, but yeah, Ryze, the stronger champ, the longer the game goes. Ryze overall in teamfight in this game might struggle though. There is the Syndra, who is traditionally a bit of a gatekeeper for the Ryze in teamfights, because he can't approach her safely. He pretty much has to flash to get on top of her, and then there's still a lot of damage. Ooh, another engage on DNK, he has to flash out. Nicely done by Heejin and Stark to get the flash from DNK once again. So another 5 minutes where he doesn't have his playmaking tool number 1 available to him. Yeah, so Ryze, in this game, I don't really see Friends Forever go for a whole lot of team fighting in the later stages of the game. Maybe a few collapses, but their game plan has to be 1-3 run against the enemy comp. They have advantages in both the side lanes. They have TPs on both their side laners as well. And then they have pretty safe wave clear with Celebrity as well, with the Kai'Sa protected by Rakan and Lee Sin disengaged as well. So this setup looks nice to me. Their team fighting setup has to be around flanks. They can't approach the fight 5v5 head on. As I said before, Ryze struggles to get into the range of Syndra. There's also Stark zoning off the Ryze, so he can't really impact the fight. Irelia is not that much gated from the enemy champions, but overall, Syndra and Cannon might still have the bigger teamfight impact in terms of side laners. I kind of favor EVOS's 5v5 setup in this game. There are ways for Friends Forever to win it, for sure. Especially if Ryze is able to outplay someone and get a big burst damage on the front line. Or if they are able to kick out the cannon engage and then re-engage with Ryze ult or something like that. A flank from Venus utilizing the Ryze ult could be something. They get Celebrity into the backline, kill Yulwei instantly, or more than Yulwei, I think they should focus on DR1 and then try to catch out Yulwei later on in the fight. So that's definitely a possibility. Overall, EVOS's comp a bit easier to play out in the 5v5. And so far, it's still an advantage for Friends Forever. They got the first turret in the top lane. But the advantage is not that big. So there are ways for EVOS to win this game. If Friends Forever is able to execute their side lane plays cleanly, I think it's a pretty hard game to play for EVOS. They can't really side lane with a Syndra, as I said before, so they have to go for Vayne side laning into one of the two champs. Vayne into Ryze doesn't sound too great to me. Vayne into Irelia is possible for the Vayne, especially if she's on even grounds, but right now Irelia would just murder her, so Vayne needs a bit of time to be able to scale equally in the side lane. Ooh, and look at that. King J going with a team fighting Ryze build. Oh, what is he actually going for? I'm not quite sure. That's a lot of weird items on him. So the tier is obvious, and then the Catalyst. Catalyst is only building into 2 items, which are Rod of Ages and Abyssal Mask. Abyssal Mask for the 1v1 matchup can be a possibility. I've not seen a Ryze going for Abyssal Mask ever in the last, I don't know, 5 months or something of competitive play. Will give him the possibility to survive all the side lane plays against both mages, I guess. Not the strongest teamfighting build in terms of damage. Committing even more into the split push, I think, is what this build is telling us. So he wants to go for Abyssal Mask. tier upgrade and then Righteous Glory, possibly even the Frozen Heart once again, to not get damaged by anyone in the enemy team, not deal damage either. Very tanky Rice build. I've not seen a Rice go that tanky. One or 1.5 tank items are usually what tankier Rices go for, and now it looks like 2 straight up tank items. So, new approach for the Rice. We see a lot of new Rice builds emerging in the VCS. Let's see if he actually goes for the Rod of Ages instead. Don't really see the Rod of Ages happening though. It's already 60 minutes into the game and he has not completed it, so that would spell a lot of waiting and scaling time for his team. Don't really anticipate that to happen. Okay. This game might go quite long, I have to say. Looking at it at 17 minutes, VCS game with only 4 kills at 17 minutes is almost unheard of. And there's still a possibility for both teams to just straight up throw a 23-minute Baron. We always have to count on that, especially looking at Friends Forever, who goes for 50-50 Barons every game. Coin flip every single game at Baron that they have the opportunity to do. Last game they couldn't because EVOS was in control. EVOS had a decently clean Baron setup. They just got the Baron later on when they won the teamfight, so no opportunity for Friends Forever to coin flip the game at 23 minutes. We might see something like that happening in this game. I don't really need to play around Baron with their 1-3-1 composition, so... Oh wow, it's the first item Frozen Heart. Why? The 2 solo laners on the enemy team are AP, and you go Frozen Heart first item as a Rice. That's another head scratcher. So this indicates a bit more that Friends Forever actually want to teamfight, I think, because you would not build Frozen Heart in this game first item if you wanted to side lane against the 2 AP solo laners. I guess Frozen Heart is good against the Vayne, but I think Rice wins against Vayne anyway. He doesn't have to go for the Frozen Heart to win this matchup. Man, the item choices get weirder and weirder in this series. And Friends Forever are just content scaling and scaling and scaling in this game. The Vayne has now hit 2 items though, and they have to be a bit careful in the next team fight, because EVOS right now, even though they are 1k gold behind, might actually win the team fight. Look at Rice's items. He doesn't have any damage. He has 36 AP. He's tanky and has a lot of mobility as well, but his damage is lacking. Venus, wow, Venus lives. Did not see that one coming. Eugen actually investing ult and flash, and they didn't get the kill. Of course, they didn't catch Venus inside the ultimate, so flash for flash traded, support for jungler. It's an equal trade, I would say, because both champs have a lot of engage capabilities. But looking at the game state, it's more detrimental to EVOS not having their engage than to Friends Forever, as Friends Forever, as I alluded to before, are just content setting their side lanes up and pushing down turrets slowly in the side lane with no damage rise. Also consider the non-existent rise damage on turrets. Usually the split push rise goes for a lot of damage and then is able to push down the turrets much faster than before with the AP scaling on turret damage, but right now he doesn't have any AP, so his turret culling will take forever, which further indicates Friends Forever's intent to teamfight in this game, which I really don't agree with. On one, there are many things pointing against teamfighting. One is EVOS are just an incredible good teamfight team. A teamfight from behind. They are very decisive picking their fights and very decisive in committing to the fights and isolating single targets to collapse on. I would not risk that if I were Friends Forever with an early game advantage. Why would you? And then oh, this fight might now happen. Two members from Friends Forever very far away, so they can't contest the fight. EVOS get another Drake, and it's actually 2-for-1 in Drakes, and EVOS are only 700 gold behind. So Friends Forever was not able to do anything with their early game advantage. Their no damage Rise is still pushing down in the bot lane, and we might be able to see a bit of his damage on the turrets. Let's take a look. What does he do to the turret? Ah, he actually attacks Stark because he knows. Look at that. It's not even tickling the turret. I don't know. It might be the second game thrown away by a team just because of itemization. To be fair to EVOS, they also made a lot of mistakes in the last game, so it's not only due to no ways itemization they lost the last game. But it was a big factor as well, in my opinion at least. And now we see the Frozen Heart Rush Rise. That is not able to do a whole lot of damage. Now finally getting the turret down. And we are still sitting on 4 kills. Baron has now spawned. And EVOS seems to be setting up the side lane Vayne. They're still hovering around that lane to give her a bit more safety. She doesn't want to face the Irelia one-on-one just now. That being said, maybe she's actually able to do that. Looking at her items, 2 items finished as well as Ninja Tabai against 1.5 items on Artifact side. So Vayne might actually be strong enough to fight against Artifact in the side lane. Yeah, at least King J can kill minions still. So let's see what he's going for as his second item. Could be the Abyssal Mask coming in. He invested almost all of his money, so it should be the tier Archangel stuff coming in now. Looking at gold totals. EVOS collapse on Artifact, who is very far overextended. And the fight now on 2 sides as Venus tries to re-engage this one and saves Artifact. Artifact is, wow, goes back in and just dies. 2 kills go over to EVOS, and EVOS now with the opportunity to call for a Baron. Will they actually go for that? Smite available for Yijin. Smite still up on the side of Friends Forever as well, but they have a Vayne, so their Baron speed will be quite good. Another Drake as well on their side. And Tier 1 catches out DNK. Wow, the kill goes over to Stark, and this will be the clear Baron for EVOS. No need for them to fight anymore, because King J and Celebrity will not be able to get steal this Baron away. Whoa, the smite. Okay then. Now the fight still enters, and King J... Oh, Celebrity actually gets caught out. Another kill going over. Look at the damage. King J actually able to deal a lot of damage in the team fights. And he wants to get a few kills back, but has to be very careful. And now EVOS retreat. Ooh, the Rice gets caught out, but there's still artifacts channeling in, and he looks for more kills. Dia 1 now has to run, but Venus already on his tracks. Haha, Flash Ignite. Dia 1. Ooh, nice stopwatch, but Artifact is still here and will get the kill. 800 gold shutdown over to him. So overall, EVOS still get out of that situation with the Baron, but they lose a few, and the Baron will take a bit of time to set up for them. So it's much more of a stalling Baron than an actual game-closing Baron. They will not really be able to get a whole lot of gold out of this Baron. I think the Baron power play would be negative right now, because they lose another turret. We sadly don't have a statistic here showing the power of the Baron. Look at that again. So Artifact now is in okay position. Why does he go back in? Man, Artifact with another weird decision there, and Rakan tried to save him, and he just threw away his life once again. I think he anticipated to die because Dia 1 was there, but Dia 1 focused on the Rakan, so he could have gotten out there, in my opinion. Look at the smite. Why? Smite at 1000 health. If you want to lose the Baron that badly, just, I don't know, donate it over. And look at those health bars at EVOS' side. Luckily for them, one of them still got out. It was the cannon, so one of the side laners now is sitting on Baron. Still don't think he can actually 1v1 anyone on the other on the enemy side. So even though he sits on Baron, there's not that much of an opportunity for him to actually utilize that Baron buff and get a few turrets down. Sitting on 2 or 3, still in a good position. And Rice finally with a bit of damage. I talked about him finishing his second item, now sits on Serap's Embrace and can finally deal a bit of damage to turrets as well as champions. We saw his champion damage already being quite okay in the last teamfight. Vayne 3 items as well. I hope she now goes for a bit of crit and not the GA, omnipresent GA. So you actually see Celebrity with a bit of deviating build, going for the rapid fire cannon instead of the usual Hurricane on the Kai'Sa. More single target damage, a bit better target access because of the range, but less damage overall. Now Venus looks for the engage. He's a very squishy Rakan and goes way too far forward, way too aggressive for him. After he didn't get the engage in the first few seconds, he had to call off the fight, and now EVOS in a very good position. Rice already dead. Celebrity will not go down, actually. Nice kill from him on the cannon, but 4 kills still going over to EVOS. Another big teamfight mistake by FFQ, and that's another reason why I thought FFQ should go for the split pro setup. I just think EVOS is the better teamfighting team. Don't really see the reason for Friends Forever going for teamfight builds and opting into teamfights against EVOS. Now EVOS 5k ahead, and I thought the Baron would not yield any big advantages for EVOS, but they actually get one inhibitor working on the second one in the top lane. I think they can't get the inhibitor done. They will get the inhibitor turret though. So 2 inhibitor turrets, 1 inhibitor, very good payout after this teamfight. It's 27 minutes in, 11-6 on kills for EVOS, and they are 5k gold ahead with the better teamfight setup. And I'm a bit disappointed, I have to say, in Friends Forever. I wanted to see a nice split pushing game with good rotations and stuff like that. 1v1s with the Rice, but sadly they just go for teamfights and don't do anything in the teamfights. Straight up lose the game with those teamfights. Look at this, Venus, why are you still trying to engage? You didn't land the first one, and then King J is already down, DNK gets caught in the cage, Artifact goes in, very ill-advised, should have called that one off and saved his life. Sadly for them, he went in as well, and Celebrity at least gets 2 kills back, as we see now Ronopi teleporting in the backside, and Celebrity actually says, hey, you are alone, you're just in support, I'll just kill you. Ronopi still content with this decision, of course. He bought a lot of time. Celebrity not able to defend his base. Overall looks very good for EVOS. The next Baron will be there in 30 seconds, and I don't really see a way for Friends Forever to contest this one. The problem for them is they don't really have a good way to approach teamfights or even brushes. They can't even face check with any of the champs. Safest one will probably be Artifact, as their support is very squishy. So that's a big problem for them. If Artifact gets caught out face checking a brush, that's already detrimented them. Ooh, King J with the engage on Stark, and now DNK is here as well. Stark has to use his stopwatch and will probably die finally. Good pick by Friends Forever, very aggressive call by King J. Stark didn't invest his flash. I think that's the right choice. He wants to have his flash in the next teamfight. And to be honest, EVOS can't start the Baron now, but if they don't lose anything major in the time that their cannon is down, this kill doesn't really matter. And they even got the flash out of King J as well as DNK. So overall, might even be a good trade for them. But now Friends Forever recognized this as well, and they start the Baron. I talked about them being the coin flip Baron team, and this will be another 50-50, I think, as Yijin... Oh, actually, Yijin gets cancelled, so Friends Forever secure this Baron. Better Baron call for them than in most of their games. No actual 50-50, but they deter the engage from Yijin with Venus's W. But the fight is still there, and King J gets caught out. Another kill going over to Noah. And now the flash cannon engage on Venus. Venus goes down. King J also falling. Now Friends Forever look at already losing this game. They have 3 members remaining, 5 strong on EVOS' side. They have the Baron, so maybe they can clear out the waves in front of their base turrets. EVOS need one more kill to finish off this game. Celebrity and Artifact sit on their Guardian Angels. Artifact already proccing his Sterix engage, I'm sorry. So now DNK will go down 3 Guardian Angels on FFQ side. Oh, DNK! No, he doesn't get out. Stark very low though, so they actually couldn't finish here. Artifact and DNK too much of a threat in this. And now Celebrity coming in, tries to go for the kill. It's not really challenged, and they will clean up this fight. Overextension by EVOS. Another kill going over to the Artifact, and one going over to Celebrity. Big team fight win from Friends Forever. Another TP coming in for King J. Another kill going over to Artifact. And another throw coming in from EVOS. They are already getting a bit of PTSD from the last game, when they were ahead and through after getting the Baron. And now the same happens here. A bit too greedy on the finish. They at least get 1 Guardian Angel, but it's only 1. They didn't even get the Guardian Angel on the 2 main carries on Friends Forever side. So now Friends Forever is sitting on the big advantage on the next team fight in terms of second lives. Look at this. Stark's engage actually gets delayed by Venus a lot. He was not able to get on top of the Celebrity, and Celebrity is here still on full life. Artifact drops to 3/4. Another dragon going over to Friends Forever as well. So now they amp their Baron speed. And their Baron speed will also be insanely fast. Rice going with the anticipated build, with the mask, Abyssal Mask, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the item. So now big team fight setup for the Rice, very tanky, a bit of a front line for them. Maybe they called that they actually can't team fight because they don't have a real front line in this game. So they wanted him to be the front line. Not sure if I agree with this decision. I still think he will go down quite quickly. Ranged champs usually can't frontline, even if they build tank items. And we see King J is still only sitting on 2.5k health, roughly. With the shields, he will get to 3k, but he doesn't even have the Aftershock, so not the best tank rune either. I think with Aftershock on these items, he would be unkillable for a few seconds, but this way, I'm not quite sure if he can actually frontline into a Wayne on the enemy team, of all things. Looking at the summoners, Wayne sits on her flash. No flash for Cannon or Syndra. Flash for Yijin for the engage. EVOS not with the best engage setup right now because of their flashes being down on the Stark mainly. So I have to look for a bit of an exploit on the enemy team's engage. Venus doesn't have his flash available either, and his game so far has been not the best Rakan performance, I have to say. Over eager on a lot of his engages, not calling off the engage once his initial W fails. It's a big mistake from Rakan players. I've not seen a pro play too much. He still has the opportunity to turn around this game with a big Rakan flank, or even a straight up engage that lands on 2 or 3 enemy carries. But so far he has struggled a lot in this game. Sorry. We see another PF sword on Celebrity right now. I hope he finally goes for the Infinity Edge on his hyper carry. No Infinity Edge so far on the Wayne, and she doesn't seem to be building one now. So there's still the single target possibility for Celebrity. It's now on his Infinity Edge, so he should have a bit more single target damage than the Wayne. It's hard to call because Wayne, obviously, with their silver balls, also dealing an insane amount of single target damage. But no big crits for the Wayne. Item advantage actually to the FFQ's ADC here. He's also sitting on 80 CS more than the Wayne, so that's to be expected. I guess, also on 700 gold bounty, and it's 9.6, so 700 gold actually means 1000 gold in the old system. Biggest bounty there is in the game. 400 for artifact, 2 big shutdowns waiting for EVOS. Engage comes in on Ron OP, they pick on the support. Venus now with the engage, but he's already down. Ron OP is still alive, his flash is not available, but he has his exhaust still ready. Ooh, Celebrity jumps in, and Celebrity is strong, so no way can't contest him. On the other side of the fight, Rise is already down. Artifact will drop into this Guardian Angel. Tier 1 low, and no way low as well, but here's this Guardian Angel as well available. Celebrity insanely aggressive flash. Artifact is back to life, and now DNK gets stunned by No Way, so no kill on Stark there. Ooh, wow, nice snipe by DNK. No Way is not able to protect his top laner there, and FFQ actually winning the fight, but the minions are flying into the base and working on the inhibitor, so there has to be someone defending against the minions. Might actually not be in time, so the inhibitor will fall once again for EVOS, which turns around this fight quite a bit, because this was a good alleviation fight for Friends Forever if they won it cleanly, but they actually give up the inhibitor 5 more minutes where EVOS have the pressure on the map using their super minions. So Friends Forever might have to look for a bit of a desperation Baron. Looking at EVOS's Baron speed, it's still insanely high as well. Not as high as Friends Forever's Baron speed maybe, but yeah, there's still the possibility for EVOS to sneak this one. Friends Forever has to be very careful about that, around that objective. We see finally the Guardian Angel on Artifact falling down. The Guardian Angel on Celebrity still available, and DNK's Guardian Angel coming back up. Yijin and his ADC sitting on Guardian Angel as well. And Friends Forever immediately start the Baron. Yijin has the blast con to get into this and steals the Baron away. On the meantime, Stark on the backline with a big flank. As Venus very low already, but King J will kill Stark. And now Celebrity in the... Ooh, Celebrity with a big mistake. Too over-aggressive with his ultimate. And finally gets caught. Gives up his life. EVOS with the Baron, so they might be able to kill... to finally put the nail in the coffin in this game. Looking at this 4v4, they have their ADC available as opposed to the enemy team. They only gave up their top laner. Power a bit more skewed in EVOS's favor, I think, but I'm not sure if they can finish this one. They need another kill. And King J is there and gets caught out by the stun. No Way doesn't get the engage, and No Way gets eaten by his support. Tier 1 already very low. Yijin also low. No Way gets dropped into his Guardian Angel. First kill for Artifact comes in. No Way stunned and immediately dies as well. Yijin also down. Artifact with another kill, and clean fight by Friends Forever, and they will look for the finish now. Will we actually see the 2-0 lead for Friends Forever? Another throw for EVOS. I'm not quite sure if I want to call it a throw. They thought they could win the team fight, but they didn't. Clearly didn't. Artifact with very big teamfight impact. Even though their strong AD carry was not there, they still won the teamfight, and now 2 people working on the inhibitor turret in the bot lane. Cannon is still there, but the next person spawning is Ron OP in 24 seconds. That should not be enough. 4 people coming in. Inhibitor goes down. Artifact and King J on the verge of breaking the base for EVOS and killing this last standing structure. Ooh, Stark will die here as well. 4 members on the Nexus turret, so this is the game for Friends Forever. Going up 2-0 against EVOS. Maybe? Yeah. What is happening here? So they actually call off the play. Don't want to commit. Too risky for them, looking at their ADC not being there. So it's actually Friends Forever once again disengaging. I thought they had the time, but EVOS was spawning. So Stark in the end bought enough time for his team. And EVOS is still alive in this series and in this game. It's only 1-0 for Friends Forever. Friends Forever now with a big objective lead have secured 1 inhibitor in the bot lane. So the next Baron should be easy to set up for them. First Elder Dragon, and this game has evolved into a nail-biter as well. Will Friends Forever finish out this game and go 2-0 up over the favorites in EVOS, who won against Sky Gaming last week? So they looked very strong coming into the playoffs. I thought EVOS was the favorite to go into the final against PvB waiting there, because they just 2-0'd Sky Gaming without that much of a problem that series. But it might actually be Friends Forever challenging for that, because they are ahead in the second game. And it will come down to another team fight. Looking at the items, there's still the Guardian Angel on the Vayne. I think she should swap that one out for an Infinity Edge for immediate teamfight impact. There's still, I think, 2 minutes remaining on that cooldown, so 2 more minutes where the Vayne is not in her strongest state. Sonya's actually coming in for Celebrity, another way to survive the fight. No boots anymore, and he's still sitting on his Guardian Angel as well. I'm not the biggest fan of all these Guardian Angels being waited for. I think immediate power is what your team needs to win this game. Look at this again. King J gets stunned out, and then Venus flies in, only hits one with his engage. Actually can't land anything, and then DNK, King J doesn't even participate in the fight in the first then Artifact and Venus able to kill off the Syndra. King J finally arrived into the fight after clearing the minions and deals an insane amount of damage. No way to do anything there. Got caught out. Big fight victory for Friends Forever and their own base. Now, look at the Rise's items. He has the best of everything. Penetration, defensive items, and then Rabadon's Death Cap on top of that. I would like to see his AP numbers. Should sit around 450 maybe. So, still a lot of damage coming from this Rise. Maybe not the 1300 damage crits we saw in a few Rise late game games, but he's a big threat, and he is sitting on almost 3k HP, pushing in the bottom lane. Ooh, what are they doing? Well, this is insanely risky, friends. Why are you doing this? Venus already dying, and King J will get caught out. A lot of damage from him, as I said before, and he gets stunned into the base turret. Why are you doing this, Friends Forever? At least get one inhibitor back, but to be honest, inhibitor at 40 minutes, not that big of a deal, and especially considering Friends Forever was sitting on the dragon, not the best play. Celebrity gets caught out once again, and this might be the counter throw that ends the game. Artifact is still there, tries to fight his way back into this game. Tries to delay so these minions can push out in his own base. And sadly for him, the top lane inhibitor is down, and the mid lane inhibitor also down, so the minions for EVOS are there, and they will run down the mid lane and might actually be able to finally finish this game. Look at the timers. Venus will be up. King J might also be up, so it's a hero play for King J that needs to define this game for Friends Forever if they want to get this 2-0 lead. And now EVOS members already storming into the enemy base. There are minions finally hitting the Nexus turrets, and there's Venus available. King J is not there, so the Nexus will go down before King J spawns, and the game gets closed out by EVOS. What a throw by Friends Forever. They looked so good in the last few team fights, and then they call this play on the last remaining Nexus turrets, porting in 2 members when they are 5 men strong and sit on a big advantage in terms of objectives. They already secured their first Elder Dragon. Why would you ever go for that play? It's baffling for me. Look at that. So I wanted to buy time for the inhibitor. Celebrity is there to secure the inhibitor. King J also dropping is very detrimental for them. I think if they only gave up Venus's life, it might be an okay play. Now, look at this. Stark looks for the re-engage. Big stun from DR1. Game-defining play there. He got the stun on the enemy ADC. Immediate kill on Celebrity. DNK and Artifact can't do anything. And that's the end of the game. I still think the call was not the right one to make there. It might work out if you only teleport in 1 member in a few minutes, but 2 members is too much. Wow, what a game of throws. That was quite a bit of time we spent looking at both teams throwing away advantages left, right and center. Weird itemization once again, especially looking at the Rise. Weird game setup overall from Friends Forever. Looked like a 1-3-1 comp, got ahead. Didn't play 1-3-1 at all, or wanted to teamfight. Lost all the initial teamfights and then turned around the game in their own base when EVOS threw away the lead. Man, and then the game devolved into teamfight chicken and playing around the Baron or rushing the Baron. One big Baron steal coming in from EVOS' jungler almost immediately secured the game, but they threw one once again in the enemy base. Then it looked like Friends Forever for sure won the game, but it was actually not the case, and in the end they threw away the game once again. EVOS comes out on top, and we are sitting at a 1-1 score. Friendsweiler has to be quite upset with that outcome. They looked at a 2-0 for a long time, and now it's back to square 1-1. EVOS with the opportunity to redeem themselves and show a bit cleaner gameplay in the next game. See you guys in 8 or 9 minutes, whatever the timer will be. Until then, I'll catch a bit of breath and drink a little bit.